All right, away we go. Here it is, another edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. It is powered by WagerTalk.com. And boy, what a crew have we got here for you today, man. We welcome back the legendary, the very profitable. I mean, listen, how profitable is it? A damn name Profit is in his name, all right? Hakeem Profit, there he is, joining us once again, WagerTalk.com. Also, the legend who was a legend of... He's got a boatload of names. His name is Tony Finn, damn it. He's down there at the bottom, at Finn, at WagerTalk. You can see him. And, of course, the doctor is in the house, Dr. Chuck RX, at sportsmemo.com. There is so much IQ in this room, I almost didn't show up. It's pretty impressive here, guys. The head swelling in this room is crazy, as well as it should be. You got three of the best NBA cappers in the country gathered here for this little edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. So, guys, like we do each and every show, we'll go around the room here, talk about some of your thoughts on what happened there last night. Now, Finn, you did the show with us yesterday, so I'll start with you because, quite honestly, you were pure money in the NBA last night, man. I don't know if you can borrow Profit's name up there, but maybe it was Finn Profit for a little while there last night. Congratulations. Great night, man.
It was a Timothy Leary night. It was a good night.
Yeah.
Well, it was a good night. Other than free, at the end of the show, I'll back Milwaukee as kind of the free as the giveaway. But other than that, yeah, Sacramento came through. Not only did they continue to have that ridiculously good ATS number, they actually won a game on top of that last night too. And if you saw the game, you guys, I don't know if you watched it. There's no way the big guy gets that shot off in 1 second. But they were how does the home team let that big guy beat the clock? I don't know. Phoenix did what we thought they would do. They outwinded. Should I say? They outwinded and played 4 solid quarters to claim a victory. And really, I thought it was a pretty interesting night. New Orleans was a good game. And I like that as my small dog, that Detroit. And that one came down to the wire as well. Everything outside of OKC crushing the Jazz. What we talked about the Jazz yesterday, Joe, guys, they have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, they really do. It's not getting any better over there. And Ski, don't look at it now, but it's like a 55-year-old Derrick Rose is continuing to dominate here, my friend. My word, and. He drains the game winner. Detroit beats New Orleans. It was a flip 'em, it was kind of a pick 'em game anyway there last night. But, man, oh, man, what would have been if this guy doesn't tear and blow both his knees out? What kind of career are we talking about for him?
Yeah, that would have been awesome. And I saw like a question on Twitter, people kind of asking if you could pick one player to like never have the injuries. I saw people mentioning Brandon Roy, a lot of Derrick Roses, but I mean, I think Derrick Rose takes the cake. I mean, he was MVP already. We see him still doing the stuff he's doing now, so that's great. Yesterday looked like a dog day. A lot of dogs won. Couple game winners. Derrick Rose game winner, and then the Sacramento one. So it was a watch and learn day for me yesterday.
And it was. And Dr. Chuck, what did you see yesterday, last night, that kind of stuck out to you? I mean, we talked about it, Utah. Like, what the? Really? At home? Like, I get it. You had a rough road trip, but holy crap, Utah. Seriously, man? At home as a 9-point favorite?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Tony was saying they talked about that game yesterday, but we've discussed the Jazz. And
yes, we have.
And, we discussed them with that Lakers spot and a couple different spots and have gone both ways, fade and follow, and I'm staying away from the Jazz. Got to figure out what's going on with them and see, where they can put together. I think pretty much the Jazz are in the watch and learn category, especially after that game where, I suppose the line was kind of erroneous, but still not even to win, let alone as an almost double-digit favorite. I like to go on against the Raptors. I used it as a total last night.
Right.
Just because they played the Sixers, they got the Clippers on deck. If you believe in the sandwich game idea, I just kind of thought they'd be flat. And it, first half whole game under, it was, not a pretty game to watch.
No.
And ended with, they did survive with a narrow win, so it's good for them. But it was the only game I had on the card last night.
Yep, and that was a winner there, and it was the Celtics took care of business, like Tony had said. Milwaukee was. There was definitely the winning side, so to speak, but they just kind of took their foot off the gas there a little bit at the end, 110-101 over Orlando, who continues to have problems scoring buckets. We also mentioned GS, formerly known as Golden State Warriors. Now they resemble a G League team at best, taking on the Grizzlies. And, listen, Ski, I don't know. You just can't. I don't ever. It's like instant fade here with GS from this point on. But kudos to Memphis, who's dealing with a whole bunch of injuries there. They were a 3-point dog in that game, and they won by 8, 110-102. I mean, well done by them.
Yeah, definitely well done. And, I mean, I want to say eventually, I mean, it's going to be some point you can buy low on Golden State. I mean, GS, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
D'Angelo Russell back.
Yeah.
Kevon Looney back. Draymond. At some point, they got to get it together. So I'm looking for it to come soon.
Yep. Yeah. Well, let's see you, them, and everybody else there, and of course, Tony, the Pacers last night. We talked about this. There was. You're the man who specializes in loads, so you mentioned it last night. You love, there was going to be no Kawhi, had a bit of a knee problem, flare up again there. But, if you got Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench just destroying everyone, does it really matter who's taking a load last night?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. And if I may, it's kind of coincidence here. I'm gonna break ranks and just go over because I sent a buddy of mine. An insider, an NBA insider, the guy I converse with for the Utah Jazz after the show yesterday, and he just happened to answer while we're doing this show.
Okay.
And he works for the D News. So I'll just say the D News. But I told him, I said, in as many in 5 sentences or less, what's wrong with the Jazz? And he said it's a combination of 2 things, but primarily it's the bench. He said, if you guys want to know, he lives and dies and breathes and eats and drinks the Jazz. And he said, I'm not going to go over the fact that Jeff Green has been a journeyman his entire career. There's a reason for it. He's showing that this year.
Right.
That Ed Davis was supposed to be 80% of Derek Favors, and he has been a fraction of Favors. And they got him at a price. But he goes on and he just says this. Tony says starting 5 are plus 83 on the season. Plus 83. Every lineup with at least 4 starters are at plus 70. He said every lineup with at least 3 starters plus 57. He said Jeff Green is at minus 60.
Oof, Jesus.
Even with the Jazz with a winning record, Joe Ingles minus 14. And Ed Davis minus 21, and he said, I guess I could say this, couldn't I? I think it's appropriate to say. He said the coach is minus 120.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It was coming from somewhere. Listen, we talk about depth all the time here on this show, guys. It's not like it doesn't. It matters. I don't care as much load management as you want. Depth, especially come, April, May, June, guys. That's what it's all about. Toronto had some of the best last year. Clippers are showing why it is that you can sit a star like Kawhi Leonard on the road on a back-to-back and still bounce out a pretty damn good Indiana Pacers team. So it's important, but remember that as you're going along through the season, teams like GS, teams like Utah, to a lesser extent, what's going on with Denver right now, who finds themselves on the court tonight. Abbreviated slate here, 4 games. We'll start there, in fact. The Nuggets taking on the 76ers here tonight. Sixers, 3.5. It's been bet up to, I'm seeing a 5 or 2 out there as well. 206 is what the total opened up. That's been bounced up to 208.5. It has not been good for Denver. It has not been a lot of fun outside of beating the Knicks. But then again, the 4 of us could probably beat the Knicks at this point. Ski, I don't know how much faith you got in a weary Philadelphia 76ers team, but a Denver team just can't get it done, man.
Yeah, well, if you're going to have faith in Philadelphia anywhere, it's going to be at home. 12-0 straight up at the house. Looking at the Nuggets, they're 1-4 straight up their last 5 games. I want to say 3 or 4 of those games were on the road. So we know the Nuggets are much better at home than on the road. Philly, much better at home. I can't back the Nuggets being away from the house. I don't care. 1-4 against the spread the last 5. Philly, I mean, there's no reason to look away from them here. They're going to have Richardson in the lineup. He's upgraded to probable. I also want to look at the total. I look at both of these teams, two of the top defensive rated teams in the league over the last 5 games, Denver being 4th, Philadelphia 6th. Denver wants to play slow. Philly, I mean, I feel like they can play either way, but one thing for sure is they're going to play defense. I think it's a lower scoring game, and I think I like Philadelphia.
Dr. Chuck, he's going with Philly here. Low-scoring game on the road this year. Denver, he's right, 6-4 straight up, 4-5-1 against the spread. So I don't know. Jokic can't seem to score. Going up against Embiid, I don't know. Are you on the same page here, or do you think maybe this is an opportunity for Denver to flip it?
No, I mean, not only are the Sixers, easy to back at home, like Ski said, they don't lose. This is their 3rd straight game at home. Denver's playing 4 road games and 6. Not good on the road. They haven't looked good, period. And, opposite records. Philadelphia's 4-1 the last 5. Denver's 1-4 the last 5. I would probably lean both of the ways that Hakeem did, but I look more to the Sixers in the first half. The Sixers' net rating last 5 games is about 10, which is pretty solid. In the first half, it's about 28. The Nuggets just aren't as good on the road, and the Sixers are a team that wins on the road. I don't know if I'd want to lay the whole 5 if I could have gotten it on right at the beginning. I think first half you just have to lay a bucket. Maybe that's 2.5 now. I'd have to look and see, but I went with one of my first bets of the day was Philly first half. Just don't know if it's going to even be a close game by the end, but I'm almost positive at the halftime that I think Denver's net rating in the first half isn't even above 0.
2.5 total is 107.5 in the first half of that Nuggets Philadelphia game. I mean, what do you think, Tony? You going to play contrarian here, brother? You got a weary Philadelphia team that went up against their arch nemesis lately, Toronto last night. They get the win. You think it's an opportunity, maybe a little recency bias here for Philly?
Well, there's always an opportunity, and that's the beautiful thing about every day. We have an opportunity to do something, be it good, be it different, be it contrarian, be it indifferent. Here's the problem, and that is until Denver. And I agree with Hakeem with one thing. I cannot back Denver right now the way they are offensively. Outside of the Pepsi Center, I can't, and even then, I kind of get a little lump in my throat. So without Millsap being physical in the paint, and it's hard for a guy that's probably 60 years old in NBA years. I mean, Millsap, and without Jokic, without him scoring, they got outscored 66-22 on Sunday night in the paint. You cannot win in the NBA getting outscored like that and getting dominated in the paint unless you are Steve Kerr on his best day and you're hitting 70% from three-point land.
Yeah, Philly actually looks like their last 11 at home, 7 unders out of the 11 have cashed, as well as 7 out of the last 10 on the road for Denver. Also very profitable to back the under in this. So keep an eye on that number moving forward, and we'll take a look at the next game that's on the board, and 2 teams that should not have a problem scoring, mostly because neither of them play any defense. How about the Washington Wizards taking on the Charlotte Hornets? Interesting game. Opened up as Wizards as a 1-point road favorite here. It's been pushed up to 2. Total, believe it or not, guys, has been coming down here. Opened up 234. I'm seeing 228.5s, 229s on the board. Ski, I'll start with you, man. What do you like here? Wizards, Hornets here tonight.
This will be the first game that the Wizards are favored on the road. And I just look at these 2 teams, and the first thing I think when I see that, are the Wizards that much better than Charlotte? Minus 2.5? That means on a neutral site, they're 5 points better? I don't think Washington is that much better than Charlotte. And just looking at them, 1-5 straight up the last 6. They've only won 3 games on the road. I mean, Charlotte's won 5 games at the house. They play much better at home. Looking at last 5 game stats, the defense is a little bit better for Charlotte, although both teams haven't been good defensively at all. Rebounding advantage for Charlotte. If they can just pick it up on the offensive end, I mean, I'm looking at Charlotte all the way here. And as far as the total, the coach for Charlotte, he's been preaching defense After that last game, they gave up, I think, 71 points in the second half to Atlanta. So I don't know if they're capable of doing it, but they definitely want to put an emphasis on defense in this game. They went under 4 of their last 5 at the house. I would look at Charlotte, and I would look at under.
What do you think there, Dr. Chuck? They are 8-4 against the number on the road this season, so they've had some success, the Wizards, against the number. What do you like here?
Well, yeah, using Steve's last 5 games, which I've been looking at more and more, just to see where they're at. And I mean, I do understand when you come off of a terrible performance, you kind of want to go the opposite way, and maybe that's already baked in. And so that is pretty rough. But Washington seems to have this gift of just making it so fun to play offense that it's a lot easier to just keep on scoring. And we actually have 2 of the teams last 3 games that are shooting the most 3-pointers. Charlotte's right up there, shooting a bunch of 3-pointers. You know, you take Houston out of it, and they're right up there, a 3-point rate of 45%. And the total is dropping. So as soon as I saw that it was coming down, and I always focus on the first half, and the Wizards run a faster pace in the first half, they shoot more threes in the first half, and it's kind of one of those things that are just a little bit manic on both ends of the floor. And it opened 120, and it's all the way down to 118. And I think there might have even been a 117.5 as far as going over the first half. If you narrow down the last 5 games of the first half, these are 2 of the bottom 5 teams with the defensive rating. And the Wizards, I think, defensive rating is a 126. And, you know, I mean, it's hard to imagine that Hornets also run a faster pace in the first half, which may be something the coach is going to, you know, hammer down as a focus. But I just find that Wizards allow you to score, and I think that's fun. I mean, Marvin Williams is, I think, a game-time decision, so I'm not sure where we sit on that, and I would like to have him in there. But at 118, this feels like a broken record that it's 130, and you're just getting more and more value.
There it is. And what do you think there, Tony? You got a Wizards team that, despite the amount of scoring that they can do, they're 6-6 in the total over and under on the road this season.
Well, I think that's about right. Every team should be just about 50-50 against the spread and over-unders. That's what the books would like to have. Here's the deal. These are the 2 bottom feeders on defensive efficiency. Both of these. Charlotte being 29th and Washington being 30th. And albeit Washington is like they're like Pluto. Compared to Saturn in defensive efficiency. They're that much farther out in outer space. However, they're also they're a top 5 offensive efficiency team, and Charlotte's nowhere close to that. And that's why we have Washington as a favorite here. And all things being equal, Charlotte has to Charlotte has to be at their best with the personnel they have to win, whether they're home or away, against average teams as Washington. So if you're going to play the probabilities and play the percentages and play the statistics and the underlying peripherals, Washington's your play tonight.
There you go. And by the way, Pluto no longer a planet, Dr. Chuck. Am I correct on that? So bunching
it's
it
back.
Am I right on that? I just figured I asked.
I think it's back as a planet.
Is it back now? I thought it lost its license. I'm sorry. I wasn't sure. I thought it had a DUI, or maybe that was just a dude named Pluto.
It did its time. Got suspended, license reinstated, yeah.
Now it's a planet again. Okay.
PEDs.
Sure. All right. Just making sure. We brought that up.
Planetary enhancement drugs.
Kind of feel like I'm on a different planet when Finn joins us here today. So let's move on here. Atlanta Hawks, Miami Heat tonight. Tier ski. Atlanta. Ugh, boy, they keep promising Trae Young they're going to get him help. We're going to get you help. We're going to get you help. All right. Well, they're 9 opened up as a 9-point dog tonight in Miami. It's been moved down to 8.5, so somebody must like Atlanta. Total 217.5 and pushed up to 218 right now. How do you like Atlanta's chances in Miami and South Beach here tonight?
Well, I said a while ago that I'm not really interested in Atlanta until they have Collins and Trae Young, and that's the help that he needs, in my opinion. Maybe he could get a little bit more, but that would definitely help. And so, just from that, I don't want to play Atlanta. But looking at the game, Miami, they're winning the games, but they're not covering. 1-4 against the spread their last 5. However, they're 5-1 straight up their last 6. They have been doing well against bottom feeders, 45% win teams or less. They're 7-2 against the number, 7-2 as a home favorite. the only way I would play this game would be to look at Miami side, but it would have to be Miami more so early than not. Just because I feel like they'll take their foot off the gas, kind of just how we saw the Bucks do last night. They can be controlling the game and then not really care so much at the end. So I would look towards Miami early, maybe first quarter or first half. And I don't really feel too strong about the total, but Dragic out, Winslow out, without a point guard, I just feel like that leans towards a less efficient offense and less points. And we know Miami can play defense, so I would lean towards under.
Yeah, Bam Adebayo groin is questionable for tonight's game there, Dr. Chuck. But he's right. I mean, listen, the Heat 9-2 against the number. Their last 11 at the AAA here in Miami. They're also 10-2-1 against the number in their last 13 against, like he said, awful teams here. So what do you do, though? I mean, no Dragic, no Winslow. Can Jimmy Butler carry today? They did this just a month ago, I think, in a home-and-home, and it wasn't even close. Miami just blew them out both times.
Yeah, I don't really know where to look on this, too. It's a little big for me, which is probably why it's dropping. And I don't know if did you say it's down to 8.5 or 8? Or,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, half, and I think that'll probably go to 8. And I think that's probably why. It's just, the Hawks are a wild card. What's going to show up, and then the Heat are just, they're not in that Bucks-Lakers realm of just, revving up the gas when they want to, even though Jimmy Butler will probably just, feast all over this team. I'm not 100% sure what kind of prop you can get on a Butler points plus rebounds plus assists, but that's probably going to be too low, whatever it is. But there's a couple of good, Ralph trends. The Heat are about 11 for 11 going over the last time they were a home favorite after a home favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And the Hawks took about 45 three-pointers last game, and Vegas usually bakes that into the line, and therefore it's about a 60% underplay when you have a team on the road that it might even be a little bit higher than 60%. Team goes on the road and took more than, I just dropped it to 40 rather than 45. And you take more than 43s, you most likely don't do that the next time, or if you do, it's still not that efficient. But if I had to go anything, I'd go under, because I have a feeling this true number is probably more like a 212 or 213 in this one. And so I think that's probably pretty good value, but on the side, I don't. Might be interested in like a teasing it down or something like that. But
Tony, Finn, you talked about bottom feeders defensively. Atlanta, once again, worst defensive team in the association, ranking I think third to last in that 117, 118 points per game, just absolutely awful. No surprise that the over is 13-3 in their last 16 overall. You think they can keep that up, or you think maybe the number is already baked in there? It's a little more value on the under in this game.
Well, it is baked in. It's baked in. It's an accurate statement. We must assume that those things are baked in, or these guys wouldn't be building billion-dollar hotels down here. This said, against Atlanta, one of the things I look for, Atlanta, first off, has a horrible assist-to-turnover ratio. It's horrible. Their true shooting percentage is bottom third in the league as well. And they're a team, though, that does a good job scrambling for the bad three-point shots for second chance points. Here's the problem. Miami's one of the best defensive rebounding, preventing second chance points. This sets up perfectly, and as you already talked about, Miami's already cooked their goose once. Right? That's because this matchup screams Miami. And if you're giving less than double digits, I either pass this game or you back Miami.
One or the other. All right, last game.
Hey, Joe, really quick
go ahead,
before
man.
you move on.
Go ahead, bud.
I just want those two games where they played Atlanta.
Yes.
The first one, Trae Young got hurt. He played 11 minutes, and then they won, 112-97. The second game, he didn't play at all, and they won by, I think, 9 points.
Yeah, exactly. It was that home and a little over a month ago, I think that was there. And, again, Miami took their foot off the gas a little bit there in both of those games. So they're a little banged up now, though. Not nearly as deep, but Miami at home against these lesser competition teams, they haven't seemed to have any issue with them. I wouldn't expect any less effort from them tonight either. But that leads us, of course, to the final game tonight. Portland, the Trailblazers, who Kevin Love says he'd love to go back and play with. Back to his hometown. Take me to Portland, baby, please. Get me the hell out of Cleveland. And what better night, huh? The New York Knicks, guys. 9.5 is what it opened up at. Portland as a favorite. Been pushed down to 9. I'm seeing even a couple of 8.5s. Number continues to rise, though. Opened up at 218.5 total. I'm seeing 223 across the board. We'll start with you, Ski. Talk to me. Knicks, Portland here. What do you think? Portland's starting to put it together a little bit. What do you like in this game?
This is one. I kind of go back and forth, but the way I'm going to look at it, I mean, Portland 1-4 against the number the last 5 games. But the Knicks, they've just been terrible. They've been held under 100 points for the last 6 games. It's a tough team for me to back. I could see out of all the games today, or the Miami minus almost double digits, if I have to pick one to cover the large spread, it would be Portland. I could see them just blowing New York out the water. I don't think New York has the offense to really keep up. They're not really going to play defense either. Rebounding advantage Portland as well. If I'm playing it, I'm laying it with Portland.
Ooh, I like Dr. Chuck. What do you think? I mean, this should be a new Knicks team, right? I mean, after all, Fizdale's out, Mike Miller's in. I mean, that's got to be good for what, 8 points, 9 points? Like, what's going on, Dr. Chuck?
Hey, I don't mind it right off the bat, and it worked, in his first game. I think that now they're all the way out in Portland, and I think a little bit of that new shine rubs off, and I definitely am with Ski on this one not only because it's hard to back the Knicks, and I have been caught backing the Blazers a little too much, unfortunately, especially in big spots, but I guess the reason that it feels like they're going to just beat the brakes off them is Portland has been, a perennial playoff team. They almost host a playoff series, or it looks like they're going to year in, year out, and the season hasn't started off that way, and so they can't be in a mode of, we already got this win tonight, that's past, and they have to just stock up with every win they can get, and if they can get the Knicks at home on a big spread, then they're going to have to stomp the throat the whole game, is my opinion, because now they're in a fight for a playoff spot, period. And so I don't think that Terry Stotts is going to let any kind of focus be void on a game even against a terrible team.
Yeah, all right, Tony Finn, you got a team here in the Knicks that have dropped 9 in a row, not to mention Wayne Ellington. Achilles is questionable here. Portland 4-3 in their last 7, which is decent considering, I don't know, the bar hasn't been set very high in Portland, which is surprising. What do you like? You going to go side or total in this game?
Well, I'm gonna point out a couple things on the total, because I still think this is a game and a team under new leadership, under new coaching, and to be honest, from what I understand from our Globe beat writer that I speak with, he expects this scheme to change as well eventually. I think they're going to ask this New York team to have more fun, to be try to be more offensive. As Ski said, they're struggling. Both these guys have said they're struggling offensively. Take a look at and he said, when I talked to him last night, he said you watch the sharp money and he's a player, he's a gamer. He said, look at the sharp money on this total. It opens up at 218. It's now at 223.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a reason for that.
And there's only it's about 50. I'm showing 55 on my program. 55% public money on the over. That's sharp money.
Yeah, especially at this early stage in the game here. And it's funny because all the numbers, you're looking at the under 6-1 in the last 7 between these two, 5-1 in New York's last 6 at Portland. Yeah. But yet, I don't know, that number keeps rising. Somebody's betting the total over here. Somebody, not sure who.
And I checked these out, Joe. Sometimes I'm on the WagerTalk site, and sometimes the opening number is a bit deceiving because they use a bookmaker, and bookmaker opens up early overnight. Yeah. And a lot of times there's adjustment made, and we don't show that here. So you have to, if you can click on, and I use Penny. I think they're one of the more reliable and reputable books, and they opened this. Listen, the money came in. Anytime the money comes in the mornings when the books open, it's not scientific. It's not foolproof. But that's sharp money because the tourists aren't up at 9 o'clock in the morning. They're still trying to find their bed. They're still trying to find their hotel room at 9 in the morning. So it's typically sharp money.
Got our stat of the day here. We'll go around the horn and get our best bets as well. But get a load of this, guys. How about NBA teams who were an away favorite, if they allowed 110 or more points in back-to-back games, the 26 out of their last 30 games have gone under. That would apply to the Washington Wizards tonight against Charlotte. That number continues to drop. Like we told you, opened up at 234. Now we're at that 227, 228 mark. NBA teams who are an away favorite who have allowed at least 110 or more points in back-to-back games. Yeah, 26 out of the last 30 have hit the under. Not sure if any of that is going to be applying to one of your best bets here, but we'll go around the horn. Ski, we'll start with you. Talk to us about some of your best bets here tonight.
Man, are we doing one?
Whatever you got. Go, brother. There's only 4 games, so tell us what you like here.
Well, I'll tell you, today I'll do it a little bit different. I want to tell you the ones I feel strongest about.
Perfect.
I like Charlotte, the under that you just said.
Okay.
We heard the coach already preaching about defense. We'll see if they can live up to it. I like Charlotte to win the game as well.
Mm-hmm.
I like Portland -9, and I like Philadelphia.
And you like Philly, too, in that spot against Denver, 4.5, being pushed to 5 in some places as well. All right, all good stuff. Dr. Chuck, where are you leaning here tonight?
All right, tell me that stat again.
All right, so you've got teams as an away favorite who have given up at least 110 or more there in back-to-back games. 26 out of their last 30 times has hit the under.
110, huh? Yeah. All right. So there you go. You brought into the fold one of my best bets, which is I already took the 119, so I will probably get back in as it continues to drop down on the over in the Wizards and Hornets. I don't think there's going to be a lot of defense, and I think we're going to see in the mid-60s just in the first quarter. So I have that already. I'm not going full game because it does change a little bit, and as Tony said, there's not a whole lot that has to screw up and under, but Hornets can do that, especially if they're going to preach defense, especially as the game continues on. And I don't know. I'm not going to continue. I'm not going to, fix it if it's not broke with the over in the first half on the Wizards right now. And I probably go, I would have bet the 120, honestly, but it was 119 already. And so when it gets to 117.5, I think it's even more valuable. Yep. But, if we're going with more than one, then I definitely like Philly in the first half, which we already talked about. You probably get it at 2.5 now, which is still plenty. It's just two teams trending in a different direction. And I don't know where the adjustments will be at the half, and I think it's going to end up coming down a little bit closer because that's what Philly does. But even with Richardson in there to start, and even if he doesn't get to play as many minutes as normally would, the first half I feel like is closer to 8 or 10.
There you go, 2.5 actually in that Philadelphia game right now. Charlotte Wizards opened up first half 120. It's down to 118, possibly getting down to that 117 mark, like you said, where the value will lie. And how about it, Finn? Where are you looking here tonight, man? Best bets on the board.
After the show, I'm going to look at that stat that you mentioned, Joe. I want to find out, first off, how many games in a row the Wizards have given up less than 110. They've given up 122 points a game. So there's not too many games that they haven't given up back-to-back 110s, right? Yep. Listen, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be square, and I'm going to lay the number with Miami tonight.
You're going to lay them? Okay. All right.
Yeah,
interesting. I like that. You're going to go ahead, take Miami tonight, laying that number, coming back down, too, on you.
I'll take none of that ever scares me. It's the better number I can get, the better I feel about it. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So this is so there you go, guys. We've got it. Also plays up on the board already. All you guys got to do is take advantage and head over there. You've got 2 places to go here, guys. Very simple to make it a profitable night in the NBA. WagerTalk.com. You'll see Tony Finn. You'll see our man Ski Profit there. Plays are available, and then of course our good buddy here, Dr. Chuck, over at SportsMemo.com. All you got to do is head over there, check out his handicapping page, and then all you got to do is make sure that you are following us here on the show on YouTube each and every Monday through Friday. We hang with you, breaking down the night that was and the night that will be in the NBA. So there you go. You got plenty of best bets. You got some stats. You got some trends, angles. You got Tony Finn with some sort of planetary reference there somewhere along the line.
PDs,
yes,
PDs.
you can't get this at Target. I'll tell you that. So, fellas, listen, Ski, Tony, Dr. Chuck, good luck to you on the plays here tonight. Of course, we'll talk again tomorrow, break it all down, but good luck. Make sure you get the WagerTalk.com. Make sure you get the SportsMemo.com. Guys, enjoy tonight. Thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
Later.
I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
I'm sure you do, Finley.
Damn good day when I do.